Okay, so I guess we're on our way again, eh? So how are we getting there, Jose? What are the directions again? We're going to
Western Road.
Cool.
Go to Western Road, man, and then you take a right. Very simple.
Yep. Tally-ho.
All right, man. On our way to the Toronto Comic Book Show again. And yeah, we're going to get some good scores, right, Jose?
Yeah, man, we're snagging some good stuff.
Cool.
Hooks, crooks. Good to see you looking for today.
Again, I'm kind of hoping to pick up a couple of those Stranko shields, or at least one of them. I'd like to pick up one Stranko Nick Fury shield. How about you, Jose? What do you like? What do you want? What are you looking for?
Looking for Bronze Age.
I guess this is the last Toronto Comic Book Show of 2016, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Next one will be in the spring.
Well, we got
Yeah.
December Con,
December Con
next
but that's
month,
not one of the Toronto cons, but it is a, you know.
It'll be a good show.
Yeah.
We are Toronto Plaza Hotel.
We'll see if we have any better luck with the parking this time than we did last time.
Last time it was full.
Last time we have to park over there. We'll probably have to do that again.
Yeah, we're a little earlier though, so let's see.
Maybe we'll get lucky.
Please specify how you would like to
Well,
proceed,
this time of the
sir.
year, maybe a lot of people are shopping for other things, being so close to the holidays.
Yeah,
Could be,
and Boxing
could be.
Week weekend too.
But now when we look at the parking lot, it looks like it's a full house again.
Oh, we're here again. We're parking in the next door at the abandoned Tim Hortons. Okay, so it's about 10:55 a.m. So it's con's been on for about an hour, and yeah, we're gonna go in. We're gonna try and find some really cool stuff. You don't have, I have that one.
No, yeah, I do.
I'm sure you do.
I think I do.
Didn't you collect every single one? It's like a CBCS 10.
Oh, yeah, usually strip inside there.
Yeah. You ever seen a 10 before?
Yeah, I have one in home, but it's not CA.
Oh, so I see what you're saying. Yeah.
SPF 0.
Okay, let me see some more. Let me see some other ones.
Oh, that one looks a little bleached too.
Yeah.
There you go.
good.
Now more normal colors, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, Almighty Isis #1.
Cool.
Very cool. Like that. Ooh, Indiana
Also a copy
Jones.
for 85 in there,
Yes.
too, right?
Which is probably going to be if at that price, it's going to be at least a 992, or should be.
That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Brave and the Bold. This is number 200. Last Brave and the Bold.
First Katana.
First Katana, and look at the spine.
See that?
I think you're lowballing it a bit, and yours is not that rough, man.
That's the first appearance ever of Captain Canucks.
Yeah, man.
It is a key.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And the other one's 65?
Yeah. And it's a 40%.
Very 60s.
One is just, it's not a good issue to buy. I just will never buy it.
Well, it's a terrible book to read,
Yeah.
but it is the first Rocket Raccoon, and he's got it.
Wow, that was a really good show. Toronto Comic Book Show, November 2016.
Yeah, November 27th, this last weekend.
Wow, it is one of my favorite local shows. It is the local comic book show. If you're seriously shopping for books, man, got a little bit of everything. You got bigger dealers, you got mom and pop dealers, you got guys with one table and a few books, and you got guys with a lot of inventory. Variety is the name of the game at this show, and it is one of my favorite shows. I always look forward to going.
Oh, yeah, yeah. How about you, Mike? Did you have a good time?
Absolutely, and I came out with some great deals. I was just so surprised.
I would say one thing. It almost, when you get that much variety and quality and stuff like that, it almost goes to the sensory overload. You're almost like you got too much things to process, so it can induce almost like a stasis. You're almost frozen, and what you should do is just go and get a peruse everywhere and check out each inventory's dealers. They got all kinds of different stuff.
I think we did this time. We spent a lot more time looking before we started springing on anything.
Yeah.
And it was well worth doing.
It was well worth doing it. You get a lay of the land, especially when you got a book, you got multiple copies, and you should really peruse each copy individually and try to get the best deal. And you know what? Sometimes it does pay off. Yeah, I think we could all say that we waited a long time. We were there about an hour and a half, at least for me personally, before I sprang on my first book.
Yeah, definitely by far the, in my humble opinion anyways, the best small one-day comic event in Toronto, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Hands down. There's two dealers there that you don't see at the big shows, and they've got some of the nicer stuff.
Killer inventory.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know what also really cool? We had the opportunity this weekend to meet two fellow YouTubers.
Oh, two fellow viewers. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, we got to meet Michael Jocko and also Chris Reynolds.
Yeah.
And awesome. They were picking up some books there. Man, Mike came a long way from Peterborough, eh?
Wow.
Well, he said he wanted to save the shipping cost on buying that book. So we'd meet up because he wanted to come and see us too, which was really cool.
Cool.
It's a great show to hit, man. I almost feel guilty in the sense that I don't want to talk too much about it. I don't need more competition. Do you guys need competition?
No.
Each time we go, there seems to be more people. There's more attention being paid to this show. For people who are serious comic book hunters, man, it is one of the shows, local shows, you do not want to miss.
Yeah, it's building up momentum.
Okay, so without any further ado, let's start working on our haul. And we're going to start off with the high-end Jose here, who, of course, picks up a key. And Teen Titans Annual. I have this one. I've shown it before, but Jose has now, being the little Padawan learner, learning from me, he kind of picked one. Talk, Jose, talk.
Yeah, you know what? I think, I can sum up my when I look for stuff, my philosophy, KCR1. Keys, covers, runs, and number ones. Now, this is a great cover. It's from the great team of George Perez and Marv Wolfman. Great creative team there from the late 70s, early 80s. What can I say about this? It's a trifecta, a triple hitter, and it's also a bargain book. Yeah, this has got 3 key notations on this book, and I paid the low price of $25 Canadian for this book. Wow, it was a bargain book.
Great price.
Great cover. See, you threw the challenge out, so this I like showing this first book. That's me, vigilante sniping for you guys. I was doing some bargain key hunting and some great cover shopping, and man, I could not be prouder of this first book. So, like I said, first appearance of the Vigilante. Yeah, where Adrian Chase becomes the Vigilante. It's also got the first appearance of Cheshire and the first appearance of Lila Michaels, who later becomes Harbinger. Yeah. Here's the issue where Manhattan District Attorney Adrian Chase becomes the Vigilante that we are most familiar with. He is actually the second DC Comics character to take that name, and does so in a very Punisher-esque manner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, his family was also killed by mobsters, and that's depicted in New Teen Titans issue number 34. It was crafted by none other, of course, than George Perez and Marv Wolfman, I mentioned. It's got the first appearance of Cheshire. She would become a recurring foe of the Teen Titans, but then she would later fall in love with Roy Harper, Speedy, like Kid Flash there, and when he was Arsenal, or the Arsenal. The two would have a daughter named Leanne. Now, this is a great book for $25. I could not be happier. It's happy also knowing that you have this book and now I have it too. I feel more complete.
Knocking one off your list that I already had, you bastard. Okay.
It won't be the first one in this episode.
That's for sure.
Oh,
hoy hoy.
Really interesting.
Okay, cool. So I don't know. Did you have a breakdown from the realm or anything?
From the realm on this book, I mean, I paid $25. Near mint for the 9.4. It's about 25 US.
Yeah.
And I would say this is around a 9.2, 9.4.
Yeah.
I have problem grading above 9.2s, 9.4.
25% off, basically.
Well, no, I feel that I paid the Canadian equivalent for the US price. So it's about 25 US, as I paid 25 Canadian.
Yeah, so it's a key, but not a terribly expensive key, and a really cool book that I think everybody should grab for their collection. Great book, Jose. Thanks for showing it.
All right, for the next bullet from our round here, we have Eagle-Eyed Mike. Wow. Hey, I love this cover, the new Wonder Woman 181. You know that DC Cover Girls book that I bought from Retro Rare? It's a beautiful book.
Yeah.
Full page spread on this one. This is from the time where basically they re-retroed her, took away all her powers, and she's just a kind of a regular woman, but well, obviously with martial arts skills, and she's tough. Man, I love this cover. Way to snag, Oog.
Oh, I know. I mean, the thing with this is I just forget how old these books actually are, because when they go back to the way she is in the old days, you know what I mean? It kind of skips over me, like I didn't.
Yeah, this book is from '69.
From April '69.
Yeah.
The cover is Mike Sikowski, writer's Dennis O'Neill, and I love that little old boy that he does against feminism. There was a lot of protests around his run here.
Yeah.
Feminism and all that kind of stuff.
Gloria Steinem from Ms. Magazine says, "You have stripped one of our legendary heroic icons of all her powers.
Yeah.
Give her powers back."
Give her back, I know. So there was a big scream about that. But I've seen this cover. I've seen it in your book. I've seen it at other stores and stuff like that. But
I know exactly where you picked this up from. It's one of our local favorites, the Batcave.
Batcave,
that's for sure.
I mean, I did a great bundle. I'll show you the killer deal that I got later.
Love the bundles.
But the bundle was so good that, like, even if I give this full price, it's still killer. Like, but basically, I knocked off a little bit. So I would say I paid about $22.50 US for this.
Wow.
And it's worth about $44, and it is, because I've seen it at other stores and stuff for a much higher price. And, you know, I give that a fine, very fine. It's about a 7-ish, even though it's got a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a marking there, 3/1. I don't know what the hell that means.
It's got a very James Bond feel to it.
But it's a very James Bond feel, and I just love the cover, and it's just imprinted in my mind, and when I saw it at the right price, I had to jump all over it.
You know what I think that is? I think that it's handwritten, of course. It's not stamped. I think that's probably, and it's very good a possibility, that it's a date stamp. In other words, a distributor, when they received it, 3/1. And if that's the case, then they're not going to judge it as harshly as if it was just some kid scribbling on the cover. If you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
condition-wise, so
that's why I give it a fine VF. And you know, on the realm, they're saying that's worth about $44 US.
So
and
that's
I can agree with it, because I've seen them at higher prices in around the same grade, or you know,
bottom
maybe
line.
a little less.
Bottom line on this, double.
Double.
2-bagger.
Great book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in. Fantastic score. And Jose buying another book that I had in my collection. You know, you're starting to piss me off when you do this. Wow, and it's a nicer copy than mine too, which is twice the double whammy.
Yeah, I love doing that. You know what? I scoped it out and I went back for it. I scurried afterwards, you know, thinking, "Oh my God, he's gonna have it sold." I love this cover.
Oh, for sure.
The fact that you already have it also makes me happy. And this is my first 3 books you already have. So the next book you also have too. Of course, I don't have to tell you, this is Miss Marvel number 15. This is the issue right before the cameo of Mystique. And this has got the villain, Tiger Shark, front and center.
Oh yeah.
Now, my collecting philosophy, like I said in my first segment, it's KCR1. Keys, covers, runs, and number ones. Now, this is not a key, but man, is it a lovely, lovely cover.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite cover of, well, I don't want to say my favorite cover of all time or anything like that. Definitely, I think of Miss Marvel, sure, by far. It's a great cover. Now, it's interesting when I was looking into this, it's got 3 titles to the cover. John Buscema, Joe Sinnott, and John Romita Sr. Now, Buscema and Romita Sr. are pencilers, and Sinnott is the inker. So I kind of wonder, what the heck is that all about? And I found that the cover has modifications by Romita. Now, what modifications means, I'm not 100% sure. I got a feeling it's mainly a Buscema cover, and then he came in and just, you know, cleaned up a little bit here and there or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
Or
cover.
like that other one where they changed the face.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that classic Steranko cover,
Yeah,
that Hulk issue with Marie Severin redrawing the face. Now, yeah, the shark is a very deadly beast. This is got, of course, I just mentioned the artists and the script, of course, is by Chris Claremont, of course, from X-Men. The Tiger Shark is a very cool villain. I always loved him. For you key hunters on there, if you want a first appearance of the Tiger Shark, that appears in Submariner, the very first series from the 60s, Submariner number 5 from September of 68, if you want his first appearance. I love this cover. I picked this up from that dealer, that Dr. Comics, I think, that, you know, when you go into the ballroom, he's the first dealer on the left-hand side there.
Exactly, you're talking about.
I paid, what did I pay? I paid, let's see, $10 Canadian.
Can't go wrong.
At a 9.4 in the comic book realm, it's about a $15 US book. I can't go wrong. I love a cover, and wow.
Yeah.
I can't say any more. I really, really love this cover. It's a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier. I think Tiger Shark, for me, he's a very underrated nemesis or underrated villain, not used enough. And I love his costume, the whole, you know, kind of orange gray dichotomy in the way they. I mean, I just think he's really spectacular looking and should be used more.
Yeah, why don't they use him again?
Yeah, well, I think, you know what, he's the closest thing that Marvel has to Aquaman, DC's equivalent of the Black Manta. Like, I would say he's the nemesis, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
At least I always thought so anyway. Yeah, he's Black Manta to Aquaman, what he is to Namor. I mean, that nemesis guy, the arch villain. And there's far and few in between. They, you know, like Aquaman, the villain's roster is not very strong.
Yeah.
With Namor or with Aquaman. But what are you going to do?
Spectacular book, Jose. Thanks for showing it.
And for our next book, this is one of Paul's books, Spaceman number 2, a Dell 15-cent title.
Yeah, from October 72. Again, no reason for picking up the book other than I absolutely thought the cover was spectacular. Now, what can I say about this book? First of all, it's a reprint of an earlier Dell book. I think this one originally was printed in 1962. Nothing has changed on the front cover as far as I could. Not even the price changed from 1962 to 72.
Wow.
And just goes to show you, a book can be, what, 40, 45 years old and still command no respect whatsoever in the comic community. And unfortunately, this is the case with this one here. I paid $10 for it, and really, to be honest, it's not really worth a whole lot more than that. Just to give you a reference here, if you go to the comic book, mycomicbookshop.com, you know, fine copy is only going to cost you between $6 and $7.
US.
Of course, US. The original version, the original 1962 print, I think it lists for around $56 to $58, and a breakdown on the realm for a 9.2. You're looking about, you know, $15. VF by VF, I mean 8.0, you're looking about 13, and for a fine, like a 6, you know, you can pick it up for about $5. Unfortunately, you know, Dell Comics is one of those companies by this time, you know, in 1972, they really stopped really caring about what they were doing. Most of their books weren't selling very well. They were reprints of issues from an earlier time. You know, pick them up at your local grocery book, you know, your grocery store, or you know, your newsstand. You know, they really, you know, really stopped caring, which is a shame, because, you know, it wasn't always the case. If you look at some of this footage we shot this weekend, Michael Jocko actually picked up a really nice copy of Popeye. Now, I forget what number it is, but this issue is from 1951, so there was a time when Dell was putting out some really popular, very well selling titles, and as you can see, this one that Mike picked up it's really cool. It's a really nice copy. So this here, unfortunately, is getting near the end of you know, I guess Dell is a corporation making comics, and their final waning years. So again, didn't cost me a lot, not worth a lot, but again,
simply cover peel. Oh, and one other thing I might want to mention about this, the story inside, I actually just read this one last night, and it's very indicative of the Cold War, the 1970s, 60s, 70s. You know, the nemesis is, you know, both the good guys and the bad guys are, you know, flying around in flying saucers. The nemesis are called the People's Republic. Is very is very Chinese type nemesis. Even the garb that the villains are wearing are very indicative of I guess the Chinese traditional garb. So it is hilarious how the whole communist capitalist thing is even being conveyed even in the comic books of the time. So I guess in that way it's sort of a time capsule, kind of cool story. I'm sorry, unfortunately, wasn't very good. Yeah, sorry guys if I rambled on a bit long. I love the book for the cover, but other than that, there's not really much else that I can say about this book. It's something of a novelty, but it's not worth much money.
Okay, for our next book, wow, oh wow, Amazing Spider-Man 38. Wow,
36.
36.
Yeah,
Well, I was thinking, you know what? This is a Steve Ditko Spider-Man. He did the first 38 issues, and then then Romita took over. Wow, this is your first Ditko, isn't it?
I think so. It's covered and pencils by
Ditko.
yeah. So, I mean, we've talked about bundling before. And we talked about Batcave, who was a favorite. I bought 2 Wonder Womans. One I'm not going to show tonight, but the first one you already saw. The other one was a newer one, 15 bucks. Together that's 45 bucks. I pulled this out. It didn't have a price on it. He looked at it. Together, all 3 books, 80 bucks Canadian. I jumped all over it. Why did I buy this book? I know it's a lower grade. 1, I'm not going to be afraid to read it. But 2, even at a 5.0, deal and a half. You can't get them that low. Come on, this is worth, at a 5.0 VG or F, worth about 99 bucks US for $40 Canadian, which works out to about 30 bucks US. Oh, come on.
It's earlier than any Spider-Man I own, that's for sure.
It's the oldest Spider-Man I have. You know, I'm a Phil runner, but it was just the deal was just too crazy. I could not say no to that. It's like, oh, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. I mean, and again, anything under 50, we've already talked about how, you know, there's always an appearance of someone in all of the issues. This one has a looter or a bad guy named Norton Fester, which is the first appearance in Sally Green. These are probably very smaller
minor characters.
Minor characters, and they may only show up in the one episode. So out of the under 50 run, this is probably one of the least sought after. But I'm glad to have it.
We've said it once, we've said it 1,000 times. There's no such thing as a not sought after Amazing Spider-Man. It's one of the most collectible titles you can go for Marvel.
3-bagger.
It's a beautiful book.
3-bagger. Oh.
Anytime you can pick up a Ditko Spider-Man at that price, wow, you don't even have to think twice about it.
Well, I know. I was just like shocked when he said 80 for all 3, and I'm like, what?
Can't go wrong, Mike.
Good score.
Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in. Okay, are you copying me, or does it just seem like it? Because I gotta be honest, I think you're looking at what I'm buying, and then you're going and buying the same thing. You
Automatic defense procedures initiated.
Hey, that's my line. I know. The first 3 books, I mean, they're cherished copies in your collection, and I think I probably got as good a grade, or if not better, than in all 3.
Well, you know, the thing is, I haven't even showed my one. I haven't even showed my first black costume yet, so you beat me to the punch. I've bought it before you, but I haven't showed it.
Actually, you have, if you're viewers, if you are checking one of our recent episodes, actually you would see when you're talking about the bundling aspect, you see it in passing from con footage.
But I never actually showed it, talked about it.
I wanted to beat you to the punch. I want to show it, so kind of steal your thunder a bit.
Too competitive for me.
I know.
It must be a hobby. Have fun, guys.
So this is Miss Marvel number 20. This is a minor key from October 1970. No, this is from March of 78. It's the first appearance of Miss Marvel's new costume, which she later wears as Warbird and beyond. I actually prefer this costume a lot better. I think the first one was a little 70s of that time, and this is a more contemporary costume, I think. And it's also got the first appearance of the lizard people. This was scored from Hageland. Hageland, how do you... I always
That's
have
Hagenland. I think
Hagenland.
Yeah.
Hagenland.
Just think of walking
I think it's
it's Hagen.
Hagenland. Anyway, good on them. It's my only Hagenland book. They had $20. That's what I paid for it. No discount on it, but I was happy to pay it. It's a high grade. Now, from the comic book realm, this one, it's about $15, something like that. I paid $20, so basically the equivalent in Canadian. It wasn't a score, but I like having it, and it's also two books from Miss Marvel that you had that I now have too.
And just for the record, although I do like the black costume very much, I don't entirely agree with Jose that it's a better costume than the red one. But it's cool just the same.
But you can never be wrong when you state a preference.
No, I think Jose's wrong and I'm right. That's
a good-looking woman can wear a potato sack and still look good.
right, yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand that.
great score, Jose. Fantastic score.
I always like to feature a bargain con book, like a $20, $25 book that you can really feel good about. I usually like getting those early on to feel good about the thing. This next book is prime example of that. Adventure Comics from May of 1970. 393 issue, 15-cent cover, a very early Bronze Age Supergirl book. Nice snag, Oog. Where'd you grab it?
Very nice.
I grabbed, again, this is Hagenland, and
okay.
But this is actually a cover that I've seen other dealers have for maybe a slightly better grade, but a much higher price. So I had the luxury of judging that and seeing it and saying, this is the deal, because even giving this a 6.5, I paid $6 US for it. You see $10 Canadian. That's worth about $20 because, again, using the comic book realm, one of the things that it does is people price their books a lot of times off of the guide. Now, things move off of the guide. Is it because of the TV show or whatever? I've bought the new book, and it's just a retelling of the television show, which is kind of boring. Let's get into some of the older stories with Supergirl in there. So
they have more. You know what? This has more pop. Believe it or not,
it does.
I've looked at the Supergirl, and believe it or not, people don't know this because she's popular, but she's called popular. She's had to date 6 series, like 6.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot of series. Now, a recent snag of mine was that. Remember that Supergirl #1 issue? Yeah, from 1972, from her very first series.
Yeah, I have one of the books from that series, and they're really expensive now.
Yeah, they are. Those are the ones that have popped a lot.
Everyone. But
Now,
these are starting to move up too because that's so expensive that then they'll move to this.
Yeah.
Right.
okay, now the thing I really do is I love rating Hagenland's bargain bin for books because you can always find a good deal there. So Jose, at the con this weekend, what did you think of it? Did you think there were a lot of good deals there, or what did you think?
There were, but you had to do a lot of what I call reconnoitering.
Reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance. Getting the lay of the land. I think we all can say that we waited a long time before pulling that first deal because we just had a lot to kind of go through and look through. There was that kind of variety and quality. Now, which brings us to kind of con pet peeves. I have a couple of them. The first one being, guys, I know that space is at a premium and you want to get as much volume and quantity there.
Yeah.
But one of the pet peeves for me is when you've got them packed so much, it's hard to pull them out.
Yeah.
If you have a tough time, if it's work pulling books out, you know what? With that fierce competition, and it is competition in that kind of small, intimate, you're gonna go to the next dealer.
I agree. Yeah.
Don't do it. I know you want to try to get as much volume, get as much variety, but if you have to make the people work for looking at your books, it's going to hurt you in your pocketbook, I think.
Yeah, I found the same thing. The long boxes, some of them were packed so tight that, I couldn't even pull the books out to look at them. So
You know what I do? My trick for that is I pull a chunk out.
yeah, you
Sit
can.
through them on the top, and then I can dig through normally, and then I'll squeeze
But
them
even
back
that,
in.
even that is like work. But you're right. I've done that myself.
I have to. Like, it's like, you want me to look at them, look at them.
Okay. The second pet peeve, of course, is then presentation. I think I've mentioned this at least once before.
Oh, yes.
Guys, for example, in a small intimate, you can really tell the difference. We had in one area of the room guys who had like Mylar bags, triple boarded, kind of like now, higher quality books, therefore higher price, you know, in the 20, 25, 30, 40, $50 range.
As they should be.
Another dealer had like their cheapy $3 boxes, and they were presented as such. I mean, I can't ask a dealer to Mylar, obviously, a $3 book, but I would at least ask in a presentable bag and board, you know? I mean, if you can't really offer that, I think it's going to, at the end of the day, hurt you. And actually, that brings us to our last point. Actually, Mike and I were talking about, because I picked up a book from that dealer that was really stinky. Now, stinky not in a good way, in a bad way. It brings to mind
one too.
Nice snag, Oog.
Anyways, yeah, that is a really nice adventure comics, Mike, and thanks for bringing it in.
And it's Kurt Swan, by the way.
Yeah, cool.
Like the sporting element of it in the stadium there.
And we're doing something we've never done before. Jose is going to show a superhero that he's never shown before. Power Girl. Power Girl.
Are you being sarcastic? I can't tell.
I've never seen that before, no.
Jose, I get the feeling you like Power Girl.
Yeah, you know what? It's a fetish. I know. 2 more to the collection. These ones I've been wanting to snag out. These are the variant covers here. This is from her first series, Power Girl Volume 2. These are issues 1 and 27. First issue goodness. 27, last issue goodness. So yeah, these are both great covers. I don't need to say anything more about the artist for the first cover. That's all fan favorite, Adam Hughes. Everybody loves Adam Hughes, including me. Yeah. And the second one, actually, it's an artist that I haven't heard too much about. His name is Warren Lowe. And actually, what's interesting about it, that this issue is his first DC cover. It was created as an inventory cover for in early 2010. What an inventory cover is, basically, he gets commissioned to do it on spec, and then it's up to the publisher, whoever pays for it, whether they want to use it or not. And they used it for the very last issue.
Why did you start doing stuff like that?
Yeah, this was actually done on Photoshop, and it actually looks very nice. So, needless to say, it's 2 great Power Girl covers. What I wanted to say is that with so much talk about modern variants climbing up in value, it's hard not to include Power Girl in some of these conversations. I mean, you know which way I fall on that score. Lover or hater, she has a cult following. There's no denying it, right?
Nobody can hate Power Girl.
Yeah.
I like the newer stuff with her in it.
Yeah. So say what you will, I have no problem with cheesecake mixed in with strong female heroes. I don't know about you, but white dudes in spandex gets old after however many decades, you know? Now, if you haven't noticed by now by these segments, the comic books that I've been showing in the last few episodes, I'm all about strong female comic characters, team-ups, and fighting. Lots of fighting. Power Girl does all of those things and in spades.
It's true.
Yeah. Now, like the number 27 cover, that's the more difficult, really white cover. Mine's got some spine stress marks on the cover, so it's not a really high grade, but something a little flaw like that, I don't mind too much, you know. So what else can I say? It's really difficult, of course, to find higher grades. The print run, it's not really why it's really hard to find. Rather, the reason, and this is basically logic when you think about it, most are tucked away in private collections not to see the light of the market again.
Yeah.
So once they go in somebody's PC, private collection, that's it. That's where they stay. Yeah. Now, the last thing I would end of this thing is that over the years, I've heard an on-running gag between the artists that would draw Power Girl. Now, the gag was, of course, to see how big they could get away with drawing her chest.
Her chest.
Yeah.
I do notice that sometimes in some of her books that the chest is somewhat
exaggerated.
Something like that.
Now, I realize some viewers are not going to find that very PC. Personally, I think it's kind of funny. And it's a story worth repeating. The story, of course, not that artists should want to do that, but come on, let's face it. The window in her costume design probably makes it hard for some artists to resist, don't you think? Fans, collectors, and critics should remember cheesecake, sexism, whatever.
Yeah.
It's part of why there are female superhero comics at all. Most female characters back in the day were merely love interests. Now, it's not right or it's not wrong. It's simply how things used to be. Rome wasn't built in a day, and change won't happen overnight. But things are changing, and they have been for some time now. Superhero comics have been traditionally aimed primarily at young males with disposable income. For as long as anyone can remember, those young males happen to like cheesecake and Power Girls boob window. And so I'll leave you with that to think about. Great pickups, $40 each. I scored.
We get cool covers and philosophical conversations at the same time. How cool is that?
Always, always.
Thanks for bringing it in, Jose. Fantastic books.
Big hoy hoy.
Big hoy hoy. And Mike continuing to work the Amazing Spider-Man. Wow. Amazing Spider-Man number 90 and a very nice copy indeed. Wow, Mike. Fantastic book.
Battle continues. Obviously, I give this about a 6.5. Maybe it's a little higher, but I'm gonna stick with that for now. Now I only paid $22.50 for this.
Really?
And it is worth, at a 6.5, a fine plus, about $90. Super deal. I could not resist.
Now that price you're getting from the comic book realm, was that correct?
I'm getting it from the realm.
Yeah.
So I mean, even at, 6.5, because we were talking about how the lower gradings are pretty good.
I would think the lower grades on the realm are pretty accurate.
Yeah. So I mean, it's got a value of $90 US on that, and I paid $22.50 US. I mean, again, cover by Gil Kane and John Romita. I don't know who did what or whatever.
And Spidey's fighting Doc Ock in this, isn't he?
No, that's not Doc Ock. That is, I think that is the death of George Stacy.
George Stacy, Gwen Stacy's dad.
Yeah. And that's exactly what this is. This is a little bit of a key, and that's why there's such a pop.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
So it was mispriced, and we got to take it.
So you haven't revealed the mystery dealer that you picked up this bad boy from. Where'd you score this bad boy?
It's got no price tag.
Because I would believe it was the collector dealer. This was from the collector dealer.
Are you sure?
I had to re-mylar it.
Okay, because those guys, they usually have it at least double or triple boarded and in high-grade Mylars.
Yeah, but only that. But unfortunately, a lot of times these guys, what they do is they put stuff in the gold key, the golden age books in Mylar, because they have extra spare ones of those, and they just kind of cram it in that.
I hate those. I can't fit them in my long box.
So I had to take it out and look at it, and so I gave it the proper grade and had to put it in my own boards and bag, so that it'll fit in my box, because those ones are too wide.
Yeah.
So that's the whole story about that. But it was a collector dealer that I got it from. Yeah. The guy right across from, or next to Hagenland.
So wow, in one episode you scored an early Ditko Spider-Man and you scored a nice early Bronze Age. That's two scores just on Spider-Man.
Very well at this con.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, I think you picked up 16 books. I picked up 10. How many did you pick up? 2?
2. Yeah, I picked up 2.
And
again, I was looking, and I mean, nothing really caught my fancy. I think I spoke to you beforehand. I was actually looking some of those Steranko shields, Nick Fury shields. I didn't find any, so
yeah, there wasn't
I spent a lot of the time looking around the con, and I mean, I love what I saw, but just nothing popped. Nothing popped. Nothing jumped out at me. So yeah, it was unsuccessful for me. But I mean, I still enjoyed myself. I had a good time.
Wow. You got to find yourself a run to fill.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Really, a tale of two cons.
Anyways, fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for showing it. Great score.
Yes. Okay, so our last book of the evening is Paul's.
It's not the last book of the evening. It's my last book of the evening.
It's Paul's last book of the evening. Excuse me.
Yeah, Jose's going to finish off the night.
Pardon-moi. But this is The Brave and the Bold, the very last issue, number 200, the anniversary issue. Paulie, there's probably more you can talk about.
Oh, yeah, for sure there is. For sure there is. I think I was talking to both you guys about this book at the Comic-Con earlier this summer, because I was looking at it at the Batcave, and I didn't pull the trigger, but I did at this con. I certainly did. I don't think this one needs much introduction. This, I think, as we're all aware, is the very first
Let me say it. The first appearance of Katana.
That's for sure. Yeah. One of the new and very popular superheroes, created by Mike Barr and Jim Aparo.
Of course, you got an extra pop if you're having a feature starring role in the Suicide Squad movie. That helped.
That's one of the things. So would you consider, that's another thing I'll ask you guys, would you consider a member of the Birds of Prey or the Suicide Squad? What do you guys think?
I love that
Birds of Prey. I'd have to say Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
that was
I
around
love that
longer, yeah.
With a special appearance in the Suicide Squad?
Yeah,
I would say so,
that's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, that works. Okay, love the book. What can I say? Katana's a really cool character. In fact, I've been, me and you haven't actually showed our, what was that statue we just picked up recently of the Harley Quinn?
Oh, that's a Suicide Squad, Margot Robbie Harley Quinn statue. Ooh, yeah, baby.
And I want to pick up the Katana as well.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So I should really pull the trigger. Well, there's a couple of them. So I love Katana.
Remember, they're limited. Once they're gone, that's it. Secondary market time, and you know what that means.
So she's a really cool superhero with martial arts skills. She's got her deadly sword, the Soul Keeper. Soul Taker. I just pulled the mic.
Oh, thanks.
So she fights evil around the world, and the Mystic Sword contains the souls of every single person she's killed, and she can actually speak to those. So she is actually really, really cool superhero.
Badass.
Yeah, absolutely badass. Yeah. And I saw this book selling at the Batcave for like $75, but I went to that mom and pop store near the end where you, I think, pick up the Supergirl at the last comic convention, the Supergirl #1.
Yeah.
And he had this book for $50. Now, it's in a old polypropylene bag, but the book is pristine. It's a really, really nice copy, and I picked it up for $50, which I think is a pretty good deal.
That's a steal, man. In U.S., that's probably a little over $30 U.S. for a really high grade. Yeah, you got a deal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, just to give you a quick breakdown, according to the comic book realm, so again, take it with a grain of salt. Near mint, and by near mint, I mean a 9.2. We don't like to do anything higher than a 9.2. You're looking at about $58.
So, yeah, $60 US, so about $80 Canadian. So, yeah, it was a deal.
VF, when I say VF, I mean an 8.0.
$50.
51 bucks. And in a fine, and when I say fine for CGC purposes, a 6.0. Oh, it's next to nothing. It only costs you 18 to 20 bucks. Again, I paid 50 Canadian. Very happy. It's the one and only key I picked up this weekend, but I'm super stoked about owning it. I've wanted the first appearance of Katana for a very long time, and now I own it.
Well, go and Mylar that real quick and stop bragging.
Absolutely. And Jose bringing it home on this episode with, wow, an incredible book. Oh, I'm so jealous. I am so very wow, Jose, fantastic book. Talk to me.
Yeah, this is my snack. This is my biggest boy book of the evening. All the other ones, if you'll notice, were really relatively bargain basement priced. But this is Inhumans Volume 1, issue #1 from October 1975. It's a beautiful cover, nice Bronze Age book.
That's for sure.
Yeah, cover appeal. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but the main baddie there, Blastar, I recently snagged in the wild his very first appearance, and for key hunters, you would know that it's Fantastic Four issue #62. Great cover of Blastar, and there's a duality to this book. I picked up this at the comic book show there.
Are you bragging?
Yeah, I'm kind of bragging, but also this book actually shows a kind of cautionary tale. If you can remember, we rewind back in time in 2004 when Marvel Studios announced a release date for an Inhumans movie release for November 2018. Well, of course, what happened then, the title, along with all the other Inhumans-related key issues, started seeing heat, and they really skyrocketed in the market. Of course, that was 2 years ago. The market, like I said, it never stands still. What's happened in year? Well, 2 years ago, CGC 9/8s for this issue were nearing the $500 US mark. Wow. And they were regularly dropping above or near 400 US. Of course, then what happened this year? In April, disaster struck. The film was taken off Marvel's 2000 release schedule after having already been bumped once, although technically they have not considered it canceled. But we know what that means. No movie coming out anytime soon. What happened then, needless to say, any collectors who stuck up on this issue and paid a really bloated price back then are feeling the pain if they held on to the book.
Oh, that's for sure.
Of course, I paid $100 Canadian for this one. I could not be very more happy. I mean, I got 25 bucks off it. I think they had it at $1.25, so I managed to get even 25 bucks off of it. $100 Canadian, nice even sum. $75 US. It's a higher grade. I would say it's at least a VF near mint or near mint minus 992. A comic book realm around that grade, it's about 100 US. So I basically paid the Canadian equivalent. Still, I could not be happier.
Yeah, that is and the condition is absolutely pristine. Absolutely pristine.
And presented, and like I said, I should underline this the way it should be for a book of that range. It's at least double boarded and high grade, you know, of course, bag.
Yeah.
Is that Black Bolt on the cover as well?
Black Bolt,
Yeah.
the Inhumans, he's fighting Blastar, is blasting a sked with the other Inhumans, including Medusa there. Great action cover. Love the cover, love the book. Big snag of the con for me. Could not be happier.
Nice snag.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic. And again, you guys scored really well. And I hate to admit it, but you guys both scored a hell of a lot better than I did this weekend.
Loving it.
Again, I don't know if it was I just wasn't uninspired or what. I don't know what it was, but I mean, I loved the show. Loved the books you guys picked up. Enjoyed myself there. Just didn't really do as well as you guys, but
well, there's always second chances. In less than 2 weeks, we got December Con coming up.
we got December Con, and I'm going to kick both your guys.
Well, you have to redeem yourself.
You make that a challenge? Okay, let's go.
Anyways, guys, I hope you liked the books we showed tonight. We got more books from the con coming in the next episode, but this is what we're going to show you for tonight. And if you like what you saw, leave a comment, because we absolutely love reading them, and I think we've been pretty good at responding to most of them.
Certainly have, and we've received more in the last couple episodes too. Yeah, we're keeping up.
We will see. Oh, and Star Wars is coming up.
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Oh, I'm getting so
What's
excited.
the release date again?
Is it the 14th?
Oh,
the 14th. Oh,
16th.
December 14th. Is it the?
I thought it was the 16th.
Okay, whatever, dude. We'll figure it out. But Star Wars is coming. I'm getting so excited. I'm almost ready to pee myself.
Sure, there will be a commercial.
See you guys next time.
Hoy hoy.
First day I put it out, it's gone. I had another variant, I think it was Action Comics. It's a kind of takeoff of the Superman and the Flash run. Okay,
Secrets for what? How much is that one, Mike?
25 bucks.
Wow, that's a good price.
It is.
You pull out a couple other ones. Let me see what
10-cent
else you got in
cover.
there.
These are all 10-cent covers, and they're
I
decent.
like these. How much that one?
They're all. Oh, that one's 50.